Hi guys, this is Tuti Gogia. In case you are listening this voice for the very first time, you can go check out my social media handles. And as like अब तक आप सबको पता चल गया होगा that Stuti Speaks season 2 is all about my guests. So today I have a special guest with me again. His name is Sachin, and how I know Sachin should not be like it should be from how many years I know Sachin. That should be better how I explain it. So I know him from past 20 years now. He was my friend's like my flatmate's boyfriend then, but obviously when you get to spend so many years with someone you became friend then. So that's how we met. Now he is her husband, not boyfriend anymore, obviously. So it's been many years since I know him, and he's very intelligent. जब हम we used to talk, like जब हम फ्लैट में भी मिलते थे, हम कई कई देर तक we used to talk, and कई बार discussions लंबे भी हो जाते थे. I think those were podcast as well, but obviously तब हम record नहीं करते थे. So again, I'm doing podcast with him after a very long time, and today we are planning to talk about augmented reality, layman terms में बोले तो artificial intelligence. And this is my first tech podcast, and I'm like super excited for it. So yeah, Sachin, over to you. Can you introduce yourself a bit?
Sure, Suti. And before I introduce myself, thanks for the 20 years figure because I think it ages us so much. So thanks for that. But yeah, it has been a pleasure knowing Stuti, and we have known each other for quite some time. It is also a privilege to be introduced by her friend's boyfriend as her friend's boyfriend. So that's like, quote unquote feminism for you. So for me, I have like it's been 16 years since my tryst with information technology. We all of us started our career in various services companies in Noida around 2006, and I've been with some great companies, Deloitte, Oracle, doing some really interesting things to help our clients mitigate uncertainties in the market, giving them insights. And I'm continuing to do that with Microsoft, right? So I am with their data and AI work group as part of the India region global delivery. I'm a senior consultant, and the problem statement that most of our clients have is, again, what is happening with my business, right? Descriptive
Mm.
analytics. What is going to next 2 or 3 months if things happen to progress the same way, right? Predictive analytics. And let's say, I want to have income of $200 million given so and so things, what if scenarios. So it's our job to give them prescriptions on what they must do at any given point in time, right? You might just say, whoa, that's something that might replace the business acumen, right? The management part of it. So at the onset, let me say it doesn't, right?
Mm.
Every one of these analytics, it has a probability attached to it, right? So it
Okay.
might happen, and this is the probability: 90%, 80%, 85%. That human element is still in play, right? There might be something. All of these insights are based on certain data, but there might be certain things, some data that is not being captured by various systems, and then the human intuition kicks in that, okay, system is telling me one thing, let me apply my brains to it and then take a decision. And that is what we do. We create decision support systems, and support is the key word here. Decision is taken by humans, but we
Hmm.
support them, we aid them in bringing all the insights
Hmm.
which might not be visible otherwise in the terabytes or petabytes of data that organizations today generate.
Hmm. Okay, that's a great insight. And I just want to bring it back to the feminism part because that stuck me. It's like I want to be introduce you on more personal ways. Else, I would have started that Sachin is a consultant in Microsoft. I didn't want to do that, but yeah, now you are working in Microsoft, and that's a big thing. So yeah, it's actually an honor to talk to you, especially regarding tech. And we will start with the basic concept of AI. Like,
Mhm.
I would want listeners, supposedly हम ये सोच रहे हैं कि जो भी सुन रहा है उसे नहीं पता कि
Mhm.
AI होता क्या है. So we'll start
Right.
from that point.
Mhm.
But the one thing which stuck to me when you said the decision is still with human, I think this happens on a daily basis with us. Like before I pass it over to you, if
Mhm.
even if we go to Mintra, like being a girl, if I go to Mintra, Amazon, or if I open Netflix, there are some recommendations that start coming into me as per my previous choices, but decision is still mine, that what I choose. I want to choose the similar things, or I want to make a new decision. So
Correct.
what you said is that's how I mean related in layman terms. So I pass
Mhm.
it over to you. Like can you explain, like अगर कोई सुन रहा है जिसे कुछ नहीं पता, like not a tech
Mhm.
background, so what is AI or what is augmented reality for them?
Right. So I probably won't go into the history of
Hmm,
AI because like it would probably take us the entire night. But
hmm,
it kind of started off the term that the industry standard term was artificial intelligence, right?
hmm, hmm,
And there was probably a lot of like negative connotations around it.
hmm,
The artificial intelligence, machine taking over, and the human element completely eliminated, and whatnot, right? So nowadays, when we talk about it, we say augmented intelligence, right?
hmm,
It augments. You are intelligent as a human being.
hmm,
No
hmm,
offense to you, but
hmm,
then we are providing you with tools that would augment that intelligence. So if it would take you X amount of time to reach a particular conclusion, we'll now do it faster. We'll
hmm,
augment your capabilities,
hmm,
right? And yes, in
hmm,
day to day life, you sort of play with it in more ways that than you can imagine, right?
hmm,
You probably put on your Google Maps to reach the office, and it gives you two or three choices, right? How does it
hmm,
do that? It
hmm,
continuously collates the GPS data. It
hmm,
continuously see based on other devices
hmm,
where each car is, what is it average speed, and then on a real time basis it tells you take this route or take that route, right?
hmm,
The
hmm,
other part which you mentioned, if I am sort of buying something, then and I add something else to the cart, maybe an accessory to
hmm,
that device, it will recommend the other person buying the
hmm,
same device that hey, that person bought this laptop, and this mouse or this keyboard would also be a good choice since
hmm,
you also bought some games along with it. Maybe you are a gamer, so let
hmm,
me take this opportunity to cross sell or upsell things, right?
hmm,
And this
hmm,
is what businesses want, right?
hmm,
Basically touchless and human interaction less
hmm,
transactions, right?
hmm,
And
hmm,
the number keeps on rolling in terms of their revenue, in terms of their engagement,
hmm,
right?
hmm, hmm,
Whenever I talk about augmented intelligence, the one thing that sort of gets ignored is what it takes to put up such a system,
hmm,
right? Because
hmm,
it's not something that comes out of thin air.
hmm,
Augmented intelligence works on mountains of data,
hmm,
right?
hmm,
So imagine that you want to create a system
hmm,
where you want to predict that what is your possibility of landing, let's say, uh, 10 guys who
hmm,
have a certain profile,
hmm,
right?
hmm,
Now I need to build a system that
hmm,
says, okay, I'll scan your profile, what are
hmm,
your likes and dislikes.
hmm,
Now
hmm,
I'll scan the database of whatever number of people data I have for
hmm,
similar interests,
hmm,
right?
hmm,
And then the match happens,
hmm,
right? But
right.
what likelihood is that you'll probably go ahead and as they say, right swipe,
Hmm, true.
right?
Hmm,
So unless and until I have that data, and I know, okay, somebody having a similar profile to Stuti, right,
hmm,
swiped on these 10 guys, so there is
hmm,
a high probability that Stuti will also like them too,
hmm, hmm,
right? So
hmm,
it's unless and until I have that data with me and I
hmm,
know, what decision was taken by the key stakeholder over there,
hmm, hmm.
I cannot predict no matter how much inputs you give me, right?
So true.
So it
Hmm,
is all about converting the previous results,
hmm,
converting the previous outcomes
Hmm.
and then based on certain parameters predict what will happen
What
in
will
the
happen?
future,
Hmm.
right?
And इससे मुझे थोड़ा सा ये याद आ रहा है जब basic when we started reading computer engineering, the
Mhm.
basic thing which started was कि आपको एक data को random data को एक information में convert करना है, and now
Correct.
it's happening in much finer form.
Right,
So, and
right,
that is what leading to AI, right?
right.
And on that note, on a personal note, I don't. I'm not on any dating site. I don't date anymore. So disclaimer
I
for
thought it would
people.
just be interesting for some
No,
demographics to actually know about how these things might actually.
I
People do
got
not
it.
generally think about these things, right? And
Yeah,
they
I
think
I
that it's like some magic behind it.
behind that.
And yes, you actually hit the nail right on its head. So far in the business intelligence industry, what was happening was the focus was on, okay, I have like 10 Excel sheets, right?
Hmm.
And there was a dedicated person whose job was to combine these Excel sheets and then create another Excel sheet
Hmm.
for the
Hmm.
executives, for
Hmm.
balance sheets, for
Hmm.
finance. So you are taking raw information and then creating a consolidated information from it,
Hmm. Hmm.
right?
Hmm. Hmm.
But then the executive, what he used to do was he used to create further excels on top of it to present it to his bosses,
Hmm. So true. Hmm.
right? So
Hmm.
there was information,
Hmm.
but there was no knowledge,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
right? And
Hmm.
that is the gap which modern AI tools and business intelligence tools have sort of closed. That
Hmm. Hmm.
we know what the problem statement would be, and data scientists sort of come up to us all the time. They know that what algorithm they need to apply, and
Hmm.
we'll get into what type of problem statements AI or augmented
Hmm.
intelligence has.
Hmm.
But then they say 80% of the times they are just cleaning the data.
Right.
They are sort of bringing it into a format on top of which they can apply their algorithms and do their magic. They are cleaning the data, they are
Hmm.
removing outliers, they are
Hmm.
transforming the data, and by the time they get to it, the project is like maybe half, or the timelines, in fact half of the timelines are gone. So
Hmm.
that is where you might have heard about data engineers also.
Engineer.
So they collect data from varied sources, varied formats, cloud, on premise, and they create this consolidated business repository of data, which is understandable to data scientists and normal business users. And
Hmm.
only on top of this consolidated business repository, you create dashboards, reports, descriptive, predictive, and prescriptive,
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
right? So
Hmm.
there is a lot
Hmm.
that is done
Hmm.
before the actual AI ML algorithms sort of kick in.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
and it sort of takes like more than three-fourth of the entire project life cycle.
Oh, okay. That I didn't know. So, do you think मेरे को एक क्वेश्चन आया बात करते करते mind? Do you think Facebook started this revolution of AI? Because I
Mhm,
personally feel it does. Because
mhm,
उससे पहले भी like we used to be on these social sites like Orkut.
mhm,
I think you were
mhm,
also there on that. बहुत
mhm,
पुराने ज़माने की बात है, but yeah. But I think Facebook Zuck started this somehow. And
mhm,
now obviously it's expanded, but
mhm.
I personally feel that the revolution started at that time because वहां से data collection शुरू हुआ, right? A major chunk where people logged in and data started collecting. I mean वो collect होना शुरू हुआ और obviously now it's been sold. मतलब
Right.
data is like it's like very expensive thing these days, right?
Exactly.
The
Right.
phone
And
number, yeah.
exactly. And again,
Hmm,
that's a very key thing.
hmm,
तो होता क्या, I mean, see, the AIML world is continuously evolving in terms of the latest and greatest algorithms that are being used, which are more and more accurate, even scary. It's actually scary, right? There are algorithms which can actually predict in a conversation, what would be your next sentence,
hmm. That's
right?
why bots are
Based
now,
on that
yeah.
data. But how I would probably not credit Facebook to the extent that they
Hmm,
started this revolution, because most of these concepts
hmm,
were present, and it's like the technology hadn't caught up yet,
hmm, hmm.
right?
Okay.
But what Facebook enabled was that consolidated data repository which we talked about, right?
True
So
that.
Facebook, through what it actually gave it a sort of a form of a portal where it was free for all in terms of user data, your
Hmm.
likes, your
Hmm.
dislikes, where are
Hmm.
you going, what are you buying, what are you
Hmm.
wearing. And even today,
Hmm.
it's more a sort of valuable than any oil deposit or any gold deposits that somebody has, because that is the future. If you know your demographics, that what type of things they are doing, you can obviously plug in your products, and you have a higher probability of attracting those that segment
Particular
towards
audience.
your product lines. And that is what the game is, right?
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
need you, the we are approximately 2-3 billion people on this earth,
Hmm. Hmm.
right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And the markets, there is a lot of competition, and
Hmm.
this is the edge businesses are looking for, right?
Hmm.
CRM is the thing of the past.
Hmm.
Hyper personalization,
Hmm.
knowing your customer,
Hmm.
where they are going,
Hmm. Hmm.
right, what they are buying, that
Hmm.
is what companies are looking for. And this
Hmm.
has given rise to another sort of danger, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Privacy issues,
Privacy issues.
security of your data. How
Hmm.
much of my data am I willing to expose to the companies? Now, if you consider the global scenarios, there are protections in place. So you have GDPR in Europe, US has its own regulations. I mean, India has to do a lot in order to catch up, in terms of the protection of the personal data. And that is a whole subject area in itself. uh, just imagine, I mean, in order even to use your smartphone, you have to agree to a whole lot of things, that Android, Google will be collecting this. If you have
Hmm.
an S21 Ultra, there would be a separate disclaimer that Samsung would be collecting this. And even if your mobile phone is off Wi-Fi, or let's say that mobile
Hmm.
network, 5G, 4G, whatever you might be on, the phone is still collecting data. It's just that when you will connect to the internet, it will send across that data to the relevant
Hmm.
checkpoint, right?
So true.
So that is, I mean, that is the other side of this AI/ML revolution, where
Hmm.
at the center you have the customer, human beings, right?
Hmm.
Around them, encircling them, are these giant tech companies that want to know everything about you, and
Hmm.
then probably commercialize that data to
Hmm.
other vendors in the manufacturing chain, in the healthcare chain, so
Hmm.
as to
Hmm.
have various use cases
Hmm.
on how to
Hmm.
maximize their bottom
Hmm.
line.
Hmm. Hmm.
So this is actually the whole game right now,
Hmm. Hmm.
whenever you consider the AI/ML part of it.
Hmm.
Obviously, there are, it's like nuclear energy, right? You can create
Hmm.
electricity from it, or you can create a nuclear bomb from it. It's
Bomb out.
the use.
Pros and cons.
It's the use, and the laws and regulations to govern these things.
And India maybe it has exports suddenly because इससे पहले आधार नहीं था, like US में SSN था, right?
Correct,
So we
correct.
didn't had something like that. तो अब
Hmm.
हमारी primary key है in terms
Hmm.
of if we talk in terms
Exactly.
of tech. So we
Hmm.
have a primary key. Aadhaar is related to
Hmm.
PAN and then phone number, then everything, and then there is now one stop shop kind of, and it
Hmm.
brings its own insecurities, right? Because
Personally identifiable information,
huh,
it's
right,
out there. I don't
out
know
there.
how many companies has my email ID. A number of companies have my like mobile number. I keep on getting, I block them, I do a DND, but again you have all these
You
campaigns being launched at you, and it's just an endless barrage,
I
right?
mean,
So
it
yeah,
it it's
personally
happened
identifiable information.
organically. Now, if you shop, they'll ask your phone number. How many times you'll say I don't want to give it, right? You have to give it because they are storing their information. They are sending you
Correct.
invites or messages. So I mean, yeah, but the positive and
Exactly, and
negative.
there, and that is why the regulation space is so far behind. In
Huh.
Europe, US, you have something called a right to forget. If you
Oh.
initiate that, any company that has taken your personal data, they are bound to delete it within a certain amount of time,
Oh.
right? Of
Okay.
course, this excludes the government agencies that have your data for various purposes.
Hmm.
But yeah, this is a very nice thing, and I would really like to have this right to forget in India as well, because that would save us a loss of hassles. And with everything going digital,
Hmm.
you are open to so many risks.
Hmm.
So that is one part of it, but I did promise that I'll also talk about the various AI/ML problem statements that
Hmm.
you usually
Hmm.
have in the industry.
Hmm.
So I'll just talk about three. So there are
Hmm.
like deep ML use cases. For example, you present a photograph to your algorithm and it'll know whether it is a cat or a dog. But that is like very deep learning kind of stuff. So the three basic problem statements. One, regression, right?
Hmm.
Regression is basically, let's say, you have if I give an algorithm an input that this is my weight and this is my age,
Hmm.
it will give what is my expected height.
Oh, okay.
So that is regression. You are predicting something based on certain variables, right?
Okay. Hmm.
Second is classification.
Hmm.
Classification is, it's more or less binary, or in some cases where you already know your category. So I'll give you an example. So for example, if let's say an email comes to you,
Hmm.
you must have noticed how Outlook or Gmail immediately classifies it as a genuine email that should find its place in your inbox, or it is a spam email,
Spam email. Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So this is a classic example of classification. So there are
Hmm.
multiple parameters based on which the algorithm will determine that whether it is A category or B category or C category. That's
Okay.
classification. But this is the case where the categories are known:
Hmm.
spam, promotions,
Okay.
etc.
Got it. Hmm.
Right?
Hmm.
Now the third problem statement is called clustering,
Hmm.
which takes me back to the example that I give.
Hmm.
What is my demographics that
Hmm.
I should target?
Okay.
This is me, right?
Hmm.
This is my product. It has
Hmm.
got certain features.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
then I have a profile of, let's say, 1 million people. I won't pay rent, add rent to companies to target all those million people, right? Give me a much more distilled set of
Hmm.
people, so that my marketing budget is efficient, and I'm only reaching out to people who would be interested in my product. Right now the categories are not known, the criteria is not known, I only know what I have to offer. So
Hmm.
that is what clustering does. It
Okay.
creates those clusters, those
Okay.
groups, and whatever you feel, that is where the human part comes in, that amongst these clusters who would suit your requirement
Hmm.
the best. So
Hmm.
this is the third problem statement that sort of
Okay.
comes in. And in one way or the other, organizations have big, even the most, let's say, IT deficient organization has use cases in all these three categories, right? They
Okay.
wanted just that their IT infrastructure, it needs to catch up. The
Hmm.
collection of the data, the ingestion of the data, the storing of the data, the transforming of the data, so that the front end use cases of business intelligence and
Hmm.
ML can come in.
Okay, got it. So there is a lot to deep dive into. But for that matter, I think we have talked a lot. I want to talk you about how you are seeing the future of it. Is it going to be more virtual, like if you have heard about Web3
Right.
and the more about the virtual gaming, like metaverse kind of thing, where things are
Correct.
more like into W3 kind of. I also
Mhm.
don't know about it much, but I'm still learning. That's
Correct.
like in my process. So what are your thoughts on that?
So, I mean, this has actually divided in industry experts, and basically, we are at an inflection point
Hmm.
where we can, depending upon where the tide turns, it can happen any which ways, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Because now the technology has caught up. You have
Hmm.
quantum computing computers that can, process even peta and peta into million times of data per second. So it is possible
Hmm.
either to have an augmented reality AR or
Oh.
a virtual reality VR, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
VR is what the metaverse is,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
So basically, you forget what the actual reality is, and you are in a different reality.
Hmm.
Augmented reality is like Iron Man kind of a stuff. So you see what is in front of you,
Hmm.
but then there are graphics popping all over the place, giving you more information
Hmm.
about the environment you are interacting with. And
Hmm.
if I take it to gaming, uh, you might have heard about Pokemon Go, right?
Hmm.
So you keep the camera in front of you, and within that screen, creatures start popping in, right?
Hmm.
and you get a sort of a waypoint of where the next collection point of that Pokemon ball is, right?
Oh,
You
okay.
still know that you are in this world,
Hmm.
but then you are getting more information, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
I, for one, I am leaning towards the augmented reality kind of things, because apart from giving you a sense of, because most people would not like to lose themselves and not lose that human touch of
Hmm.
their reality, right? So
Hmm.
it, I would rather sit here and talk to you knowing that there is a person in front of me,
Hmm.
rather than going through the risk of getting myself involved into something which might turn out to be a bot.
Hmm. That's scary, actually. That's
Right.
actually scary. But I think even if we want to stop it, we won't be able to. There will be some point in life where
Right.
this will be happening.
Right.
I
And
mean,
that is why I said that it is an inflection point, right?
hmm, hmm,
So
hmm,
there can be there can be an adoption of either one of these paths,
hmm,
or it
hmm,
could be a combination of both, where some things are, let's say, totally VR, virtual
hmm,
reality, where people don't know how I
hmm,
look or sound like, because
hmm,
those are the things that you can easily
hmm.
manipulate. You can have
Manip-
your avatars,
hmm.
speak like Darth Vader, and
Right.
be have yourself looking like Brad Pitt.
Hmm,
But augmented reality would all be about that. Okay, this is my reality, but what is the additional information that I'm getting?
hmm,
The hyper connectivity that 5G is enabling right now.
hmm,
So across the world, surgeries are happening with, let's say, the surgeons sitting in Stockholm, and the across the Atlantic, the patient is in, let's say, LA, and through that fiber connectivity, the person is operating a machinery where corresponding actions are happening
oh.
on the patient, so that it's like that much remote application is happening of
Are
AR.
you talking about this in real, or are
Yeah, no,
you
no. In reality,
in
this is what's
reality?
happening, right?
Oh.
So there are devices where, let's say, if I shake, you are sitting all the way across in US, and I'm
Hmm,
sitting in India.
hmm,
There are devices where, let's say, which can actually on runtime uh, gauge the total area that is actually touching that device, and the amount of pressure that I am applying on it, right? And the same thing can be transferred to the another device
hmm,
sitting thousands of kilometers across. And
hmm,
the real time application is that we can actually shake our hands in
hmm,
real time, right?
hmm.
It would give the exact same feeling,
Sensation.
exact same
Feeling.
sensation, right?
Hmm,
So
hmm,
all these things have been, like I said, technology has caught up. You have
hmm,
like millisecond, not even millisecond, like very nanosecond latency in terms of the transfer of data. You
hmm,
have edge nodes sitting all over the cloud network system, where the data is transferred at a thought speed. You have powerful computers that
hmm,
can process that data, and then you have front end algorithms that can transform that data into the insights that you are looking for.
hmm, hmm,
So these are very exciting times to be living in. And we right now, the applications that you are looking for, it's just a matter of time that
hmm.
they come. uh, because the turnaround time, the SLA of getting a product in the market based on new technologies, because all of the infrastructure is available. Previously it was like 20 years of product research, and then the product will come into
Now
the
the beta
market.
version comes
Now
and
it's like
then
3 to 4
huh.
beta version is out in the first 2 years, and by fourth or fifth year, it's like commercial versions are
So
available.
true. Hmm. And because they test the beta and वो feedback ले लेते हैं कि भाई दे दो, we are like trying it.
Absolutely.
Obviously agile scrum, there are everything. So everything is like on the go. भाई 6 महीने में every bug fix हो रहा है and the product is renewed.
Absolutely.
And इतनी risk ability now, even people are okay with that, right? There was a
Correct.
time जब इतना सा भी issue would had harm people के यार ये कैसा product है, we rejected. But now
Hmm.
even people are open कि ठीक है, it's a beta version, I can accept the mistakes and then I'll move forward.
User adoption, right?
Yeah, kind of.
People are brave now.
People are brave
लोगों
now.
को डर नहीं लगता कि
Okay.
मैं ये नया प्रोडक्ट ले रहा हूँ, what effect it would have. They
Hmm.
are like, I am using the latest and greatest thing,
Hmm.
and
I'm
it might
open.
be
I'm open.
it might be not perfect, but it
Perfect.
is saving me x amount of time. It looks cool in front of other people. That is good enough for me, and it's a brave new world out there where people are thinking like that,
Hmm.
right? People are risk takers now, so
Nah, yeah,
it's
especially
it's
Gen Z,
matching their
Gen Z.
wavelength of, yeah.
हाँ, they are Gen Z, Gen Alpha. They are like very outgoing people. उनको नहीं है. I mean, they are not that people like us
Hmm.
who are like secure and
Risk
abhi
averse.
risk नहीं like. They are
I
people
won't even go watch a movie unless the reviews are in,
review. हाँ,
right? So
हाँ.
the first day, first show, kind of I mean, I've left that long ago. So the same thing is with products as well.
हाँ.
Unless and until it's commercialized, and I have read like 100 feedbacks on YouTube or
Hmm.
the tech channels that I follow, I
Hmm.
don't go buy that product. But there
Hmm.
are early adopters who would
Hmm.
even buy and pay a premium for the beta version of the product.
Hmm.
So
And they'll play and they'll put their, I mean, the reviews and everything. But yeah, and I think there will be a lot of things which will be changing based on augmented reality, and obviously with crypto, the currencies coming in picture, and then the
exactly,
drones, the drone, I mean, people have started using drone for the deliveries as well. So I
for
feel that there's a
deliveries,
lot to change, and I think there are many more podcasts to this kind of thing.
exactly.
So but we'll do in other season maybe. आज के लिए I think this is too heavy. I'm not sure मेरी audience कितनी tech based है, but I personally wanted to do it and I want to add every element in my podcast. So thanks for doing this for me. Any parting notes for the listeners? Like,
No, no, absolutely. For all of you who are interested in this particular field, right? There is, no specific good time to start,
hmm,
right? Every
hmm.
second, every time is a good time. Like there are
So
so
true.
many resources available out there, so that you can take your first steps in this field. And then there are so many experts who are willing to spend their time with the up and coming, newbies or noobs in this particular field. You can directly reach out to people on LinkedIn, and they will they'll be on a Zoom call with you as soon as possible, because they want to sharpen their, as they say, sharpen their own blades.
Own plates. So true.
What is the problem that this guy is facing, he's not able to solve. Let me spend some time with him.
And
So this is something, it is definitely the future. Things are changing all across the board, and it's good to have at least peripheral knowledge about these things, so that you are
yeah.
at least literate in some way.
Literate in some way. That's what even I wanted to, and I wanted to learn it specifically, and with people like you I am comfortable, so that's why I specifically wanted to do this podcast. And thank you. I will be sharing this on LinkedIn. I generally don't share my podcast because I mean the LinkedIn is more tech based, but this one for sure goes to LinkedIn. So yeah, anybody who is interested in AI can reach to him. And on LinkedIn, obviously I'm not sure, he's not on Instagram, so whatever other media, Facebook, Twitter. I'm not sure you are on or on, but you
I
are
am
on
I am
link.
actually,
You are
yeah.
on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Feel free to reach out to Sachin Bhatnagar. I'll be sharing details. And thank you everyone for listening to us. Stay happy, stay blessed, and most importantly, stay grateful. I might see you another one. Bye.
Bye guys.